Hey guys, welcome to 2021. I hope everybody is doing good and feeling good and excited about the new year. It's been a hot minute since I've been on here. I'm actually like a month late because I've been so busy with my other businesses that it's been just very crazy, very busy, and I hope the same for you guys. I am going to be starting with a brand new deck, and I love it. It is absolutely amazing. It's the Light Seers deck, tarot deck, and it's just fantastic. I really like the imagery on it. I like the messages that it brings, so we're going to be using that today and probably throughout this whole deal. So I am going to focus, I promised in December's videos that I would be looking at love as well as the main focus of the month, and I wanted to focus on the astrological energies, and I devised the questions based on all of the different astrological changes that we'll see. And this reading is actually going to be covering January and February because I am late and I don't want you guys to wait a full month to get January, and I like to disperse kind of one by one. So you're not waiting. I'm going to do a combination of January energy and February energy. But before we get started, I did want to just give a quick message on how those energies are going to look for you, and then I will kind of specify a little bit further for your particular zodiac as well. But for everybody in general, the first 2 weeks or so of January is going to be really focused around that new moon solar eclipse energy, and it's kind of coming from mid-December in the sign of Sagittarius and kind of into January. That energy started out with these promised, opportunities of exploration and discovery and kind of this awakening and giving us that courage to expand our horizons and gain some insight from experiences and not feel quite so anxious about the end of the year, but more excited for the beginning of the new year. So you're a little bit more inclined to nurture yourself, your faith, your hope, your vision. And it's really, as we get into January, I would recommend not to jump too much into new adventures. I certainly would be a bit more aware of your impulses this coming month. As you follow through, just be easy at this time. Impulses can definitely work the better of us if we're not in tune with our needs, and it can lead to mistakes if we are not focused on that properly. So just watch for making decisions while in the freedom of all costs kind of mindset. Okay, now at the end of January, Mercury is going retrograde. Don't freak out. It's going into the sign of Aquarius on the 30th. And the main questions I'm focusing in the end of January and beginning of February does focus on Mercury retrograde, how you can prep for it, what you can do to kind of stay in touch with staying a step ahead of the game here, so to speak, so that you don't have a whole lot of you have more benefit from the retrograde than you do that decline that a lot of people can sometimes feel. Mercury retrograde in Aquarius will kind of tap into our more humanitarian side of things. So more prone to inner muse when it comes to innovative ideas, or slowdowns and delays might be likely when it comes to productivity, as opposed to being more in touch and in tune with your relationships, if you will. Okay, as we get into February, we are going to have an accumulation of planets. Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury, and the Sun are going to come into Aquarius, and this alignment will be boosted with the entry of Venus in the sign of Aquarius as well. So it'll tell us more about the desire for emotional independence, and on the other hand, with the square between Saturn and Aquarius and Uranus and Taurus, it will also have it'll allude to eternal resistance to changes. So also be aware of that when you are maybe facing some shifts that you might feel a little bit outside of your box. You definitely don't want to necessarily just elude from it. You want to look at it, especially if it's during that retrograde period, on what that lesson can bring for you. Other than that, the best time to ask for a favor is going to be February 12th through the 13th, when the planets are adding a special blessing in a beautiful way. Okay, so we're going to kind of get into this. I've got about 8 or 10 questions for you guys. I will find out the best message for you when it comes to love, and then when we get into the March readings, I will really start looking into that, but I want to focus more on you for the first part of the year. Okay, so let's get into it. I appreciate your patience with all that, but a lot of good information. I think you should be informed. That's super important, so let's get into it. All right, guys. All right, Virgos, let's take a look and see where this Capricorn energy is going to be applied as far as this new moon in Capricorn. The first couple of questions are going to be about that. We'll see where your long-term goals and attention is going to be here. So Four of Wands with regards to where you're applying your Capricorn energy. So this Four of Wands energy is about celebrating. It's about feeling good about things coming into your life. It's about, putting your attention where things really deserve to be, and taking kind of a sigh of relief. It's kind of a breath of fresh air, really, overall. So Eight of Wands in reverse, kind of slowing down and maybe taking care of some of the more personal things that you've kind of neglected because you've been focusing on other things. I also see a need to let go of other things that might be bringing you down, or what may seem as, rewarding is actually kind of slowing you down. So finding some recognition and balance with that is going to be important, okay? Long-term goals, which ones need your attention? Justice in reverse. So if there's something that you didn't, make some solid decisions on, or maybe you feel like you made the wrong decision on, long-term wise, if you think it's going to make a difference, I would certainly take a step back and go deal with that situation, okay? Grab control of it, use your charisma and intuition, but, you just deal with it the best that you can. Especially if, like, for example, if this is a relationship will bring about some kind of a connection in the future, would be better to deal with now so that you can have that as a good connection instead of a burnt bridge, then definitely address that judgment and that decision, or whatever that a situation that didn't have a good call. Deal with that now and allow yourself to just kind of put it into a positive the best you can. Alright, what needs to be cleansed here? Alright, for my Virgos, Five of Wands in reverse. Some kind of loss of opportunity that's been kind of on your mind. Something's been kind of holding you back here, whether it's a love offer or a job offer of some kind. But you need to detach from the idea that that's going to be your happiness, because your happiness is actually going to be what you need to pursue and have needed to pursue for some time now, it looks like. So maybe you've just been busy or preoccupied on something, and what you think you need to put your time and attention to, actually you just haven't realized that you need to put your efforts towards something else, and it has more to do with this Nine of Cups in reverse, something that's not, that you haven't pursued that you should have. It could be an illness, it could be some kind of an addiction to some kind of behavior, but it could be some kind of a, pursuit for a passion or towards some kind of job. It could be another person that you're trying to have a relationship with. So it just all depends on your personal situation, okay? What is the next best practical step to take? Eight of Cups in reverse. So returning to that, to start something new, to revive whatever that is that you left behind or that didn't get the attention that it deserved. Death and rebirth. I'm not surprised to see that come out. Every single zodiac for this January-February reading has had that card come out. And the Six of Cups. So retreating, you're dealing with something that needs to be dealt with. You're allowing something that, you're allowing a change that maybe have been resisted in the past. You're actually pursuing it and allowing that to bring a positive result, okay? You're allowing this, you're identifying the emotions and the important root of the situation so that it can bring about some positivity, some positive expansion here. Alright, how can you expand on your vision as we enter into February in that Aquarius and New Moon energy? The Temperance. So you can expand it via bringing that balance and that peace into your world. So the moment that you do that, you really are opening up some opportunities for yourself here. What will Aquarius energy bring you in general? The Emperor in reverse. So it brings you avoiding problems. And it also allows you to avoid the narrow-minded or the same kind of energy that you have just kind of eliminated from your life or from your reality. You now have a very clear understanding of how to avoid that in the future. So that just kind of brought you a good sense of, you know, like a new sense almost of bullshit. You can identify the bullshitters. Okay, Queen of Swords here for how the retrograde can affect you. So it allows you to identify all of the people who are full of shit, you know, and you can identify them and call them out before they can hurt you. So at a distance, you can see exactly what's going on, separate yourself from that situation, and move on. So for you, this is kind of a helpful retrograde for you, because as painful as it might be, it gives you a new sense of how to deal with certain situations when you get stuck in those moments of, you know, of seeing no growth or wondering, is this going to be something you should pursue or not? Now you kind of have an idea of how you can sense your way through that. Now, how can you prep for the retrograde at this point? Got the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Wands, and the Six of Swords in the reverse. So if you were planning on taking some kind of a trip, or you were oh, excuse me. If you were looking to connect with somebody or a situation that you thought would bring some kind of renewal, you know, on an impulse maybe, it's not, I don't see that that's something that you should pursue. I see that actually you should postpone that situation. I would avoid impulsive decisions, because that is something that you could see a little bit of negative results come from that. So how can you prep for retrograde? You can avoid these impulsive kind of decisions to just kind of get out and go. One, because it just could be the company that you're with. It could be the journey in general, and you know, you not checking those details. And I wouldn't do a lot of traveling or and I would do a lot of self-care in that particular moment, and I would have a keen, you know, sense of avoiding manipulation, unrealistic situations during retrograde. So the more you can do that during that time period, the better. In what area do you need more balance? We've got the Five of Swords. So if you've got some conflicts or some situations that maybe your friends are like, hey, we want to do this, or, you know, whatever, you can go, but we're going to be mad at you, or maybe it's somebody else. Maybe it's a business situation or whatever it is. I do see that is something that is kind of highly on your mind and that needs some balance. The suggested action to take with that situation is the Ten of Cups. So whatever fulfills you and brings you that inner peace is where you need to go. So if it brings you anxiety to go and do that, for whatever reason, that's just, then it's not meant to be. You need to listen to that intuition and go with whatever brings you contentment. If it's been forever and you're just kind of nervous about getting out because you haven't been out in a while, but you really are feeling like this is going to be good for me, then take a moment and, you know, put your focus on that and try to go out and have a good time. So it just depends on your situation personally, okay? With regards to love, that situation is Seven of Swords in reverse type of energy. So we've got, you're kind of retrieving good news about, you know, maybe if you haven't had anything good come about in your single status here, then you are possibly getting some interesting information about maybe an ex coming back around. Just kind of depends there, but overall, I'd recommend, you know, because it's retrograde too, sometimes exes can kind of pop out, but it sometimes is a kind of a test to see what you're going to do. I would definitely stay, you know, rising above this situation and, you know, continue to allow yourself to kind of plant seeds in other areas so that you can continue to build for the future in areas of not going backwards, but planning and not settling for something less. So just keep in mind out for that as you are getting into retrograde. I wouldn't look into that too deeply. I would remember the fact that a lot of times exes can come around during retrograde. So if you want to look into your personal situation to clarify, feel free to reach out and let me know. And if you are wanting any further information on your chakras or blockages, or to see where you're at with that, again, feel free to let me know. Now, we've got determination, the solar plexus chakra, and visualization in reverse, which is the third eye chakra. Everyone, again, is also getting these two cards, the solar plexus and the third eye, especially the third eye. So you've got a lot of visions and things taking place that maybe you're avoiding or denying, that will give you peace and give you that strength that you're looking for. But it's all about tapping into that and unblocking it if you have a situation where it is blocked. So just to kind of give you an understanding, put some intentions into that third eye, try to practice and work that out, and you will certainly get a lot more of that clarity through those intuitive messages, okay? If you have any questions, feel free to reach out and let me know. Otherwise, have a great couple months. Much love to you guys. We'll talk to you soon.